All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're talking about a tiny piece of tech that has totally sparked a revolution for makers, artists, and engineers all over the world. We are talking about Arduino. Have you ever had one of those brilliant late-night ideas for some kind of invention? You know, maybe a plant that waters itself, or a crazy light display for your room, or maybe even your very first robot? Well, that's exactly where something like Arduino comes into play. So we know it helps bring ideas to life, but what is it really? Let's get to the core of it and break down what we're actually looking at here. Now, the magic word here is open source. All that means is that the designs and the software are totally free for anyone to use, to change, and to share. It's basically this powerful toolkit that gives you a small programmable circuit board, that's the hardware, and the software you need to tell that board what to do. And you know, this whole thing kicked off back in 2005. Two engineers, Massimo Bonzi and David Cordiales, had this really simple but powerful goal. See, back then, building electronic prototypes was super expensive and really complicated. They wanted to make a tool that was cheap and easy to use, so that anybody, students, artists, hobbyists, could build their own creative projects. And they absolutely started a revolution. But here's the thing, that first idea has grown way beyond just one single device. When we say Arduino today, we're really talking about a whole family of tech. It is a huge family of boards, and each one is kind of specialized for different kinds of projects. So whether you're building something for a smart home, making interactive clothing, or designing a complex robot, chances are there's an Arduino board that's perfect for the job. It's become this entire ecosystem for creativity. And I mean, just look at some of these names. You've got the classic Uno, the super powerful Mega for when your project needs a ton of connections, and then you have the tiny Nano or Micro that can fit into the smallest little spaces. There's even the Lily Pad. Get this, it's designed to be sewn right into fabric for wearable tech projects. The variety is just incredible. But they all share that same core DNA, which makes it really easy to jump between them. So with all those options, where in the world do you start? Well, for most people, the journey begins with one very iconic little blue board. Say hello to the Arduino Uno. The name kind of says it all. Uno is Italian for one, and this was the very first board in the series to be released. It's the most popular, it's the most well-documented, and it's pretty much the perfect board to get your start in the amazing world of electronics. So here it is, the Arduino Uno itself. I know, at first glance, it might look a little complex, but let's take a quick tour of the key parts and see how it all works. It's actually pretty straightforward once you know what you're looking at. To really get what you can do with it, we're going to do a little anatomy lesson and break down the parts that make this little board so incredibly powerful. Okay, see that big black rectangle right in the middle? That's the AT Mega 328 microcontroller. Just think of this as the brain. This is where you upload your code, and it's the part that runs all your commands, processes information, and controls literally everything else on the board. So, how do we talk to the brain and give it power? Through these two ports right here. The USB plug lets you connect the Uno to your computer. That's how you upload your programs, and it can also power the board. The black circular port, that's the external power supply for when your project is ready to run all on its own away from your computer. Now, look at that long row of sockets along the top edge. These are the digital input/output pins. If the microcontroller is the brain, you can think of these as the board's hands and feet. You use these pins to send signals out to do things like turn on a light, spin a motor, or make a sound. On the opposite side, you'll see this smaller block of pins labeled analog in. These are the board's sensors. This is how the Arduino reads information from the outside world. You can hook up sensors here to measure things like light, temperature, or even the position of a knob. And finally, see that small red button? That's the reset button. It does exactly what you think it does. Press it, and the program you loaded onto the microcontroller just starts over from the very beginning. Super simple, but incredibly useful when you're testing out your new creation. Okay, so we've toured the hardware. We've pointed out the key parts of the Uno. But understanding the components is one thing. What does all of this mean for you as a creator? You know, it all comes back to this. Arduino isn't just a piece of hardware, it's an invitation. It's a platform that gives you the tools to design, develop, and test your own ideas. To take them from just a spark in your imagination into a real working thing. You've seen the brain, the hands, the feet, and the senses. You understand the basic building blocks that can bring an idea to life. So now the only real question left is, what will you create?